I'll begin with this. Guys, tell me this: as working actors, you guys live on the other side of this equation of the talent and agent equation. How much fun was it to sort of turn the tables and see the world from their perspective? And did it change also your equation or how you think of this world?
So, since nobody has begun,
Yeah.
always like, I think this is the fun part of doing interviews with everybody because everybody's like, okay, who's going to start? Um, but I've said this earlier. Like, I think like most of us begin our careers with being our own managers, and I know Ayush and I we have like a similar story because I started as a casting assistant to Shanu Sharma, and I was literally her Emily, and she was literally like in The Devil Wears Prada. It was literally like that.
Right.
But I worked as a casting assistant. I worked as an assistant director, as a production assistant. I've done a lot of assistant jobs before I actually started getting film or television work is where I started because I started my career with TV. We have been our own managers for so long that and I remember having this conversation with Nasir so long ago, because I've worked with him for such a long time, and I was just like, oh, I need a manager, and he's like, to manage what? I said, to manage me. He's like, but you don't have work, and
to manage my life. Suddenly, it's not come to professional life; it's just come to personal life. Can you manage?
Yeah, he was just like, but what? And it was such a legit question. He's like, but do you have a lot of work that you need to be managed? And I said, no, I don't have anything. And that's why I need a manager. And he's like, no, managers manage your work. And if you don't have work, then who's managing your work? And I was like, okay. So it was hilarious because he really like put perspective into my idea of management and agents and agencies very early on in my career. And I kept getting work and I kept negotiating deals for myself. And I think I did that for such a long time that I've become a pro at it. I still feel like I think in most of the people in India also know that is what we've been told by everybody, that you are your best managers. But I do understand with the kind of work and the kind of influx of work that's coming in now to a lot of us, we need somebody to be able to manage our lives. And I think that's why a Call My Agent becomes relevant. A Call My Agent becomes relatable. It becomes a more humanized version of what the film industry really looks like as opposed to what it really is. Like the amount of hard work, the amount of hustling that goes into getting an actor a job, to basically being able to sell an actor to a producer, to be able to sell a script to an actor who's unwilling to do a certain film, or things like that. And then when I watched the show for the first time, the French one, I was like, "Arey, ye to hamare saath bhi hota hai. Arey, ye to hamare saath bhi hota hai." So I didn't feel like it was any different from what we feel in our day-to-day lives that I saw in the French version. So I was like, "Oh, the story is the same." So I think that was rather fascinating.
And also the fact that we always obviously respect the talent agency managers who we have, but after doing those parts, we genuinely have a respect level of the next level, because they do so much for us. And sometimes an actor is going through emotional turmoil or something in his personal life, and that's why the decision making could be fogged. But as managers, you can't have that lapse. You have to still think of the person in the most objective way, and I think that's the most important job. And it's a thankless job sometimes, because once the actor gets a film and it's a hit, everyone's talking about, oh, look at the actor's choices and this and that and how he's done. But there's a management who is also involved actively in forming that. So putting light on that is something which I feel is great. Also, I feel they deserve the respect in this industry, and via this show, if we can do that, it'll be just epic.
Right. So, remember, I got to ask you this. You had been a part of one of my favorite meta film industry movies, which was Vinod Chopra's Khamosh. And this is not a genre that had picked up in India this way. Recently, Netflix has, had a bunch of titles. AK versus AK was there. The Bollywood Wives documentary is there. There's a revived interest in shows that have that bit of, meta humor with, actors celebs playing themselves. What do you think makes it so much fun, to both for the audience to watch and just for you guys to, just sort of let your guard down and do this, and to show the industry as it is and it's not a culture we've had for a long time, and there's been a gap, and
Yeah.
that understanding has never been there from audiences that how actually the industry works.
I think the whole thing is about connectivity, and humanizing actors, because actors have really been kind of glorified, these huge mega stars, superstars, and that whole culture now seems to be changing, because obviously the minute you have an OTT platform, it's coming into your house. Your whole way of looking at films is also changing, and stars are now people. They're not unattainable objects which are unreachable, as they used to be in the old days. So I think what's fascinating about, like you said, a film like Khamosh, for example, or in those days, or today, a series like Call My Agent, you're seeing the people behind the so-called a star, or behind the so-called fame, and that's really what the show is about. It's about, and therefore the connection comes, because everybody at the end of the day is the same. They all have the same problems. They all have the same issues. They have a baby, or they have a problem going to work with a baby, and all these things that people face even here today are in the show, and that's what's going to connect the audience, or does connect the audience with the characters that you see. So I think that's what is the USP of this show, actually.
Right. I'll delve a little bit into each of your characters. I'll start with Ahana. Ahana, tell me this: your character Amal, she has a constant anger issue, and in the show, it's presented as comedy. But anyone who's had angry bosses, angry colleagues would relate to it. I just wanted to know, where did that come from, and how do you go about building that aspect of the character?
Hannah is also nicknamed Hulk, so she's always angry. Sorry. Okay,
Yeah, I think I generally have like an anger issue. Like I'm always like pissed off or angry, or I'm just like, that's my face. Don't get personal. But I just think like stop. But I am somebody who's very hyper in general in life, so I could relate with Amal's character. And I think if I was a casting agent or a talent manager, I probably would be an Amal. I'm pretty sure I would be Amal. Because she's a go-getter. She's somebody who's really like, wants to get the work done. I was saying like our film industry is a very dynamic industry. We don't have the leisure of time to sit and think or mull over a certain character or a certain role, because it's so dynamic. It changes every moment. If I take too long to decide that, should I do this part? It's already gone to somebody else. And I can very safely say this for a lot of industries post-pandemic, that this is happening all across the globe. Whether it's journalism, whether it's business, whether it's anything. If you're going to take too long, to think over something, I don't think none of us have the liberty time has become such a precious commodity. We don't have the time to sit and think over things. So you have to act quick, and you have to act fast, and you have to make the right decision. And here somebody is depending, like an entire person's career is dependent on your quick decision and your quick thinking and your quick wit. So you have to make sure that, you're putting your best foot forward. So I think she's just doing her job, and she's really good at it. And that's why she's always angry. But as you have said, now I'm a little worried that my character is too angry at all times and I'm just behaving like myself. But I was also telling about like how when I was an AD for the first time, my first job was to go and call Shefali Shah from her vanity. And I remember like knocking her vanity door for the first time and telling her, ma'am, shot is ready. That was my job, like to call her from the vanity. And, she called me in and she was like, I'm eating lunch. Do you want to just join me? And I was like, no, I don't want to eat your food, So I also...
Holy food!
Yeah, like I was like, no, I don't want to touch your food, Like, I mean, you're such a big actor and, who am I? Like just an AD, calling you on set. And I was being so weird myself that I can imagine what the whole world feels when you put an actor, because we do put them on a pedestal, we treat them like they are like some sort of creatures that we are watching from far, so that I think that still happens with me. So I don't think I'm any different from the rest of the world, how we make our actors look and how we treat them,
Right. Guys, tell me this: you have a bunch of cameos and appearances throughout the show. I want to know, of course, the makers must have taken care of it. But how smooth was that getting everyone to do and also poke fun at themselves and do roles, do things that normally a lot of actors wouldn't be up for that easily. How smooth was that whole journey of getting everyone to play themselves?
It was really really smooth. I remember not having an issue at all, like shooting with obviously when I was shooting with these big stars. In fact, everyone we were also about, okay, should we take the plunge and start conversation with them, because we have scenes with them, and we should get comfortable a little because we're managing them in the show for a while. So it shouldn't seem fresh that we're not acquainted and we're not talking, and that discomfort comes through in the show. But they took the first plunge always. We never had to, so it was that sweet. And I remember we were shooting this last year in October, same time, and during COVID. So there was a separate section for actors called the actors holding area, and all of us used to just sit there and wait till the shot used to get ready. And nobody used to sit apart. Nobody used to sit. Everyone used to sit there. We used to share. It was just those big celebrities got food for us. We remember all of us going to Farah Ma'am's van and getting biryani, and it was just like a party. And it was it was very kind of her to call everyone, and the biryani still didn't get over. So we were just like, oh my god, that's a lot of biryani. But everyone was. I think it very few times in life you shoot on sets which were very happy, and I think this was a really happy set, because I don't remember eating lunch even one day alone. I used to have lunch with all of them always. Like all of them used to be in my van, firstly, for lunch.
Oh yeah, that was
and eating Ahana's food, because Ahana gets food for 75 people.
Right. Sorry, ma'am, tell me this. I'm sure Trisha's arc will kick in more, as the show progresses. I also find it fascinating that she's a veteran, and the talent agency world has become more and more corporatized in recent years, and the PR industry and the talent industry. I want to know. This was often earlier not the case. As far as I'm aware, that earlier it was not that organized, and it was more of a person. The relationships between managers, secretaries, PRs. It was more on a personal scheme than it is today. Have you seen the shifts also? Across your career of how the industry's gotten more and more organized, corporatized, and do you sense a shift now? How, from, let's say, how it was earlier?
It's a completely different industry. It's completely corporatized. It's completely organized, I would say.
Yeah.
There were no management companies. There were no, and there were no casting directors. There were no casting companies or agencies, for that matter. And when I joined, I was always upset about that, because I felt that I could have done much better in my career had there been casting agencies which I could have gone to, and they would have pushed me for stuff. And I also felt if there had been a management company, because you had to kind of find a management. As Anna said in one of the interviews, that I said, okay, I have to find a manager, and my producer said, but why? So I said, but why not? But for Madam, you don't have any other work. So I said, it's not about work. He's supposed to get me work. That's the whole idea. But nobody seemed to get that, and I think that was what I really missed. Growing up as an actor in the business, we had to do everything ourselves, including find work. And there was how do you find work? Yeah, there was no Instagram, there was no nothing. So there was nothing that was streamlined in order to help or aid an actor to find work. So therefore, one did everything. Like one did theater, one did television. It was all to make yourself visible and to put yourself out there, so people knew that there was a person called Soni Razdan, so you could get offers after that. So that's how I sort of struggled along. And I saw the change obviously when my daughter joined the business, because immediately there was a talent management company which she signed up with, and they took care of everything. And I was really, wow, that is so cool. So now that I'm playing a part of that talent management company and playing a person of that company, an employee of that company. I understand it much more because of, the experience that I've had with Alia and with all this that's happened in her life, which didn't exist earlier. And I was like, I actually envy her. I was really so lucky that she came into the business at a time when it was actually a place organized. It was just about being organized and how much difference it makes to actors and to everybody else and to directors and to filmmakers.
Yeah, because you're focused on your work rather than 75 other things which go on around, which the management will take care of. Like, yeah.
Also, there's a way of coming to know what's being made. You don't know what's being made. How can you pitch for it? So that's a very important part of our business. I mean, you need to be pushed for stuff. But nobody has a clue who's making what unless you. So then you had sort of agents, not agents, you had managers in those days who were friends with everybody. So every night of theirs was spent drinking with somebody different to find out where the business was. So I mean, I don't know how much has changed that way, but now it's obviously not the same. But of course, people still go out for lunches and dinners.
Yeah.
I mean, work will always be understood that way. But in those days, it was very different. I mean, the whole system was so different.
So was a manager and a secretary like the same person back then? No.
Secretary.
Yeah. Secretary. Okay.
Was not a secretary in that sense. Did not type your letters for you.
Yeah.
He did the secretary meant he was your manager, basically.
Manager. Makes sense.
Right. I'll end on this note. Like Ahana mentioned, this is our film industry is very dynamic, but also very fickle at the same time. I want to know, have you guys had experience where, I'm sure you guys had to, let's say, change a PR or let's say change agencies and things like that. How awkward, emotionally difficult is that moment, because that's someone else right there, working with you. And
I think all of us should now all of us should take a clean exit.
See, it's not to put anybody down. It's not to put it's not out of hate. It's just out of good for yourself. So supposingly, if you see yourself at a certain place at a certain time, you opt with a particular agency. But if it's not living up to the expectations of where you want to be or where you want to be at, or if they're not understanding your vision, it's not that I started hating them. It's just that I go to somebody who understands my vision and who really tries to take me there in the most quickest possible time, because that's what you want to do. And mainly is somebody who understands you. And that's the only reason why I would leave an agency or whatever I had to. So it's solely on the basis of if you're going to understand me better, then I might opt with you rather than just sticking around and being stagnant to where I am. So it's basically based on those decisions. Not that you are a bad person, I want to leave you, and not all that jazz, but it's just for your own growth and for your own good. So it's for those reasons.
So adding on to what Ayush has said, the industry is really small. Nobody wants to make enemies out here. It's a very tiny industry. Today, you can be a one-show wonder. Today, your most ordinary show can be picked up by audiences. You have no idea where you're going to land. You can be doing the biggest film and it could be the greatest flop. You could be doing the smallest show, the tiniest character, not even like, say 2 scenes or 3 scenes, and it can be blown all over. So I'm just saying, I think by dynamics, I did feel what I meant was that you don't know where you're going to be. So although, I do understand it's a little fickle, our industry, because we don't really have, I still feel like we don't really have agents in India. What we really have in India is managers. Like people really manage your jobs, because whenever you talk to actors, the only reason why they're moving agencies or they're moving is because they're like, "Arey kaam nahi lekar aa rahe hain yaar, mujhe kaam nahi mil raha hai." It's the same story everywhere. So I feel like I think agencies are still trying to kind of understand, or PR agencies are also still trying to understand the entire, because it's, as I said, it changes so fast. Like by the time you figured this out, it's already changed, and you're just like, oh, it's changed. Now it's this. So now I have to figure this out. So even for them, it's very difficult. I mean, come on, they're humans. Give them a break. As we are learning, I think so are they. So you cannot afford to make enemies here. And I think although it's fickle, I think there's always a chance that you can always work together later on. So nobody wants to burn bridges there.
Great. Thank you so much, guys. All the best for Call My Agent Bollywood. I had a lovely chat with all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye bye.